Alright, let's settle a debate that has echoed through the halls of comic book fandom for decades. In one corner, we have the Devourer of Worlds from the Marvel Universe, Galactus. And in the other, the Destroyer of Multiverses from DC, the Anti-Monitor. This isn't just a battle, it's a clash of cosmic titans, a showdown between beings who treat galaxies like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Who would truly win? Grab your popcorn, because this is going to be epic. First, let's talk about our contenders. Galactus, originally a mortal named Galen from the universe before our own, survived the Big Crunch, and was reborn as a fundamental force of nature. He's not evil, not really. He's just hungry. His purpose is to consume planets to sustain his immense energy, a process that maintains cosmic balance. He wields the power cosmic, a force so vast it allows him to manipulate matter and energy on a galactic scale, transmute elements, teleport across galaxies, and project blasts that can obliterate entire worlds. His size is variable, but he's often depicted as towering over planets. He's a cosmic constant, an entity whose existence is woven into the very fabric of the Marvel Universe. And let's not forget his heralds, beings like the Silver Surfer, whom he imbues with a fraction of his own power. That alone tells you the scale of his abilities. Now, let's turn our attention to the DC corner. The Anti-Monitor. His name alone sends shivers down the spine of anyone familiar with DC lore. Born in the Anti-Matter universe, he is the polar opposite of his benevolent counterpart, the Monitor. While Galactus eats planets to live, the Anti-Monitor destroys entire universes simply because that is his nature. He is the embodiment of entropy and annihilation. He was the main villain of Crisis on Infinite Earths, arguably the most significant crossover event in comic book history, where he successfully destroyed countless universes. His power is derived from consuming the positive matter of these universes, which makes him stronger with every reality he wipes out. He commands an army of shadow demons and possesses strength and durability that allowed him to fight dozens of DC's most powerful heroes, including multiple Supermen, all at the same time. So, the stage is set. Galactus, the Planet Eater, versus the Anti-Monitor, the Universe Eater. The very premise sounds one-sided, doesn't it? But let's break it down. We need to consider which versions of these characters we're using. Like most long-running comic characters, they have various power levels depending on the story. Let's assume both are at their standard, formidable power levels, not at their absolute peak or weakest. Let's imagine the first encounter. Galactus arrives in a new, uncharted galaxy, sensing a world ripe for consumption. But as he approaches, he feels a void, a creeping emptiness that's swallowing not just planets, but the space between them. This is the Anti-Monitor's influence, an expanding wave of antimatter. Galactus, the being of the positive matter universe, would immediately recognize this as a fundamental threat not just to his next meal, but to his very existence. The fight begins. Galactus unleashes a blast of the power cosmic, a wave of energy that has cracked planets in half. It strikes the Anti-Monitor's massive armor. What happens? It probably staggers him. The Anti-Monitor's armor is incredibly durable, designed to contain his own chaotic energies. It has withstood punches from Superman and blasts from Green Lanterns. But the power cosmic is on another level entirely. It's a fundamental force of the universe. However, the Anti-Monitor can retaliate by firing his own beams of antimatter. This is where things get interesting. Antimatter and positive matter annihilate each other on contact. So, their energy blasts would likely cancel each other out in a catastrophic explosion of raw power, one that would probably vaporize the surrounding star system. This isn't a fight of brute strength alone. It's a battle of cosmic energies. Galactus can manipulate matter. Could he try to deconstruct the Anti-Monitor's armor? Possibly. But the Anti-Monitor is a being of antimatter. His very essence is corrosive to the positive matter universe that Galactus controls. It's like trying to grab fire with your bare hands. The Anti-Monitor could, in turn, attempt to unmake Galactus, projecting his antimatter field to erode the Devourer of Worlds. So, round 1 of energy projection is a stalemate. What about a physical confrontation? Both are colossal beings. Galactus has immense physical strength, but his primary weapon is the power cosmic. The Anti-Monitor, on the other hand, has demonstrated incredible physical prowess. He famously killed Supergirl with his bare hands during the Crisis. He's gone toe-to-toe with the Spectre, one of DC's most powerful entities. In a pure fistfight, the Anti-Monitor might actually have a slight edge due to his more aggressive and hands-on combat style. But here's the crucial factor: their food source. Galactus needs to eat planets to maintain his power. If he's well-fed, he's a cosmic powerhouse. If he's hungry, he can be weakened, even defeated by beings far less powerful than the Anti-Monitor. Conversely, the Anti-Monitor gets stronger by consuming universes. The longer the fight drags on, and the more destruction he causes, the more powerful he becomes. His power source is literally the destruction of his enemy's home turf. Let's consider the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline. At his peak in that story, the Anti-Monitor had absorbed the energy of 1,000,000 universes. At that level, he was a threat to the entire multiverse. He even managed to absorb the energy of DC's heroes and reshape reality itself. A fully fed Galactus is a universal-level threat, capable of contending with beings like Eternity. But the Anti-Monitor at his Crisis peak was a multiversal-level threat. The scope of his destruction is just fundamentally greater. Galactus is a force of nature within a universe. The Anti-Monitor is a force that ends universes. So if we take the Crisis version of the Anti-Monitor, it's almost a no contest. He would simply overwhelm Galactus. The power cosmic is immense, but it's a force from one universe. The Anti-Monitor's power, at his zenith, was fueled by the destruction of countless universes. The math just doesn't favor Galactus in that scenario. The Anti-Monitor would likely drain the power cosmic itself or simply make Galactus with a wave of antimatter. But let's be fair. What if we use a more standard version of the Anti-Monitor, say, the one from the Sinestro Corps War? In this form, he was still incredibly powerful, but not the multiversal destroyer he once was. He required a massive machine, the New Warworld, to function as his new body and power source. In this state, he was formidable enough to terrify the entire Green Lantern Corps, but he was eventually destroyed by the Guardians of the Universe and Superboy Prime. A well-fed Galactus could absolutely take on this version. Galactus has faced down Celestials, cosmic beings of immense power in the Marvel Universe. He's battled Odin to a standstill. His command of the power cosmic would likely be enough to overwhelm this more contained version of the Anti-Monitor. He could potentially dismantle the Warworld armor or sever the Anti-Monitor's connection to his power source. So, the winner really depends on which version shows up to the fight. If it's the all-consuming, multiversal threat from Crisis on Infinite Earths, my money is on the Anti-Monitor. His very purpose and the scale of his power are just a level above Galactus's. Galactus maintains balance in one universe. The Anti-Monitor's goal is to end all universes. It's a difference in job description. However, if it's a more standard, non-crisis Anti-Monitor against a well-fed and determined Galactus, the tables turn. Galactus's mastery over the fundamental forces of a universe gives him a massive advantage. He isn't just a brute. He's a cosmic intelligence with millennia of experience. He could find a way to exploit a weakness in the Anti-Monitor's armor or power source. In this scenario, I'd give the edge to the Devourer of Worlds. Ultimately, this is a clash between two of the greatest cosmic threats in all of fiction. One represents the natural cycle of consumption and rebirth within a universe. The other represents the final, absolute end of all things. It's a fight between a force of nature and a force of anti-nature. But based on their most famous and powerful appearances, the Anti-Monitor's track record of destroying multiverses gives him the ultimate, terrifying edge. Galactus eats worlds, but the Anti-Monitor has eaten the restaurant. What do you guys think? Did I get it right? Is there a version of Galactus, maybe Lightbringer Galactus, that could change the outcome? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I read every single one. And if you enjoyed this cosmic breakdown, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic battles. Thanks for watching.